somebody come get Dana, all right? Somebody come get this man. He's yapping some bullshit again, because after he turned against John Jones, I was like, okay, Dana White's on a little bit of a redemption arc here after glazing Jones for so long. So, he turns on John Jones, says John Jones won't fight at the White House, but Conor will. I was like, okay, Dana White redemption arc has commenced. But now here Dana is yapping some shit, and now we got to call him out for it, all right? So Dana White says money ruins everything. Now, Dana White made an appearance on this podcast. I'm sorry if this is some cool thing that I don't know about. Prince Saint Pizza. I mean, it's only got 5,000 views in 2 days, and it's with Dana White. So here it is, Dana fucking White, Delivering Happiness, episode 16 with Dana White, with this pizza guy. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be condescending, but this guy does not know enough about the sport to be interviewing Dana White, and that's why Dana White does these fluff piece interviews. Dana's been yapping some bullshit, and we're here to call it out, all right? Here is him saying that too much money ruins the sport.
It's great. We became big fans of the UFC. I mean, he got me into it. I was a boxing guy. But McGregor, I fell in love with him. I fell in love with you, and I fell in love with the sport because of that. But do you think that event kind of like, it was a great event, but did it hurt Conor in the long run?
No. I mean,
obviously it did hurt Conor in the long run, because he made $150 million from that fight with Floyd, fucked off from the sport, did whatever, became a cocaine addict and everything else that went along with Conor's career. We know what's up with that. I don't need to break down each and every little thing about what happened with Conor when he got a big load of money. But go ahead, Dana, cook.
Money ruins everything. So
right.
once you get too much money involved in the fight business, if you look at, Conor made so much money, and then that was it. And then Khabib made a shitload of money, and then that's it. But being a part of that.
And then he goes to say that, yeah, promoting the Floyd versus Conor shit was fun. But yeah, Conor made too much money and he left. Khabib made too much money and he left. Now, this is fucking really ironic coming from the guy that has made hundreds of millions of dollars in his career from the UFC and from the sale of the UFC, while paying fighters that are taking life-altering brain damage $12,000 to fight before taxes, to the point where they allegedly have to accept bribes, money to throw fights, lose fights on purpose. Really, really ironic coming from fucking Dana White. And he said this with a straight face too. Now, he also talked about money is what stopped Khabib, which is fucking crazy considering that Khabib said he wasn't going to fight without his dad in his corner. But this is what he had to say.
Khabib, again, I always said, wait till we get a Muslim world champion, 3 billion Muslims or whatever.
Right.
But the problem was that then he went out on the Muslim tour. He hit Saudi, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, all these places. They rained on him,
Right.
So he made so much money.
Yeah.
Not to fight anymore.
That's it. Once you make too much money, you're not hungry no more.
And his dad passed away, which I think had a lot to do with him not wanting to do it anymore.
So he throws a little caveat in because he realized that he fucked up by saying Khabib made a bunch of money from Abu Dhabi, Saudi, Qatar, and all that, and they rained money on him to where he didn't want to fight anymore, which might be true, but he did realize right away, he's like, oh, I fucked up. I got to say that it was about his dad. And it's funny that he's sitting here saying Saudi, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, they all rained money on him. And that's, that type of money shouldn't be in the sport. Too much money ruins the sport and makes people not want to fight anymore. Dana, these are the people you're in fucking business with. The Saudis and their Riyadh season put the money behind UFC 306 at the Sphere. They put the money behind Canelo versus Crawford. They're putting money into this Zuffa boxing venture. Of course, Abu Dhabi, there's a pay-per-view there every year. If I'm not mistaken, either currently or at one point, the UAE government owned 10% of the UFC. And Qatar, UFC is doing an event in Qatar next weekend. Dan Hooker and Arman Sarukian. It's a stacked card. Okay, so how are we going to sit here with a straight face, by the way? This is how fucking ridiculous this guy Dana is. The Muslim countries ruined the sport. They ruined Khabib for us. He made too much money and he stopped fighting. It's the people you're in business with. So what is it, Dana? Are you saying that they should not be involved in the sport? Are you saying that Khabib didn't leave because of his father? He fucked up here. He fucked up doing this interview with 5,000 views to a 5,000 subscriber channel. Hey, we just hit 10K today. I'm feeling a little big in my britches today. All right. But what the fuck is this dude Dana talking about? You're talking about a guy who stopped fighting. And I'm not even the biggest Khabib fan. If you guys watch my channel, you guys know I am not a fan of Khabib. But he retired because he didn't want to fight without his dad in his corner. And then he filled his dad's role by becoming the coach for all of the other fighters that his dad was coaching. Of course, maybe he would have kept fighting if he wasn't drowning in money from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. But for him to sit here and say that's why he left, and for Dana White to also say...
Money ruins everything. So
Right.
once you get too much money involved in the fight business...
So what do you mean money ruins everything if you get too much money involved in the fight business? I mean, what about the $7.7 billion that Paramount's going to pay? Are you saying that they shouldn't have given you that money? What are we saying here, Dana? Or what about your $25 million gambling debt while you have fighters living in poverty having to accept potentially, allegedly, we'll be safe about this, allegedly fixed fights so that they can make their mortgage, feed their kids while you have a $25 million gambling debt? So yeah, when it's convenient for you, of course, it's all good for there to be a lot of money in the sport. $7.7 billion. $25 million gambling debt. Of course, when there's a lot of money in the sport where you benefit from it, all good. But when some of your biggest stars stop fighting because of money, then it's not good. So what are we really saying here? And frankly, this was not Dana's brightest couple of interviews, because went on interviews saying he's not political, even though he was part of the Trump campaign. And I'm not even saying that was necessarily a bad thing, but don't say you're not political. And then he goes and yaps about fucking Mark Zuckerberg, dude, saying he will beat the living shit out of you.
Talk shit about Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's actually a great athlete. He trains and MMA, he surfs, he does all this shit. Zuckerberg will beat the shit out of you. Okay? Everybody thinks he's some computer nerd. Mark Zuckerberg will beat the living shit out of you. All these guys that talk stuff about him on the internet, yeah.
So who would have won?
He'll kick your ass.
Him or Elon? Who would have won?
Yeah, listen, Elon is much older and weighs more. He grew up doing judo, so he's a judo guy. So that whole thing was fascinating. That was fun too.
But he says Mark Zuckerberg would beat the living shit out of you. And this is Mark Zuckerberg training with Alex Pereira, and this dude looks like any other newbie at the gym that's been training for 3 weeks. He doesn't even have the right stance. He's terrified to, actually get hit by a punch. He's running away. And this is dirty work by Happy Punch to include this clip. I like it. Dirty mackin'. And look, I mean, the punches, he's not turning his hips over. He's just wildly swinging, kind of just touching him while his forehead is just like, please knock me out. Those look a little bit better. I know he's going up against Alex Pereira, but it's not like Alex Pereira is going to hurt him. There's nothing on those punches, man. There's literally nothing on those punches. So for him to say, Mark's, look at that. Yeah, that guy would beat the living shit out of me. I'm 6'5", 240, and I used to be a fighter myself. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg would beat the absolute living shit out of me. Like, look at that shit, dude. I know they're just having fun, and Pereira's just having fun with it. You see Pereira want to let that left hook go a little bit, but what kind of shit, what kind of bootlicker shit is this? And especially when you realize that Dana White's on the Meta board of directors and that Mark Zuckerberg is a huge UFC fan that pays $50,000 for cage side tickets. Yeah, of course, Dana White's going to be fucking just bootlicking, or like Conor says, little lick ass rah. That's what you're going to get out of Dana White. I love social media. I'm excited to be a small part of the future of AI and emerging technologies. Mark Zuckerberg will beat the living shit out of you. It's crazy, man. So he slipped up quite a bit, saying that money fucks up the sport and that Abu Dhabi, Saudi, and Qatar ruined Khabib's career, ended Khabib's career when he's in business taking money from these people. He went to them to try to get the $30 million for John Jones to fight Aspinall, and Mark Zuckerberg would beat the living shit out of you. I mean, this is what happens, all right? This is what happens with this bald fuck, all right? He has a couple good dubs, he flips the script, starts hating on John Jones, all that, and we go, oh shit, Dana's making a little bit of a redemption arc here. Dana's being reasonable. He stopped glazing Jones. But then he says some shit like this. We got to go, Dana, come here. We got to grab him by the back of his shirt, and we got to bring him back over and put him in his place. You know what I'm saying? We gotta whip him back into shape. You know what I'm saying? So Dana White, frankly, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I don't give a fuck. He would beat the living shit out of you. Bro, you blocked me on Instagram. Dana White has me blocked on Instagram because after he slapped his wife, Dana White did a, what's going on, fight fans? Check out the card this weekend. And I commented, watch that right hand, Dana. Watch that right hand. And I got banned, or I got blocked. I'm not saying him personally did it, but whoever his comment moderators are blocked me, all right? And so this is what happens. Dana White steps out of line. People like me MMA community, we got to, like a child, grab him by the back of his shirt and say, no, 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 Dana, this is your place. Quit fucking bootlicking Mark Zuckerberg and low-key talking shit about the Saudis when you're accepting money from them and fucking bootlicking them. I mean, what about this, huh? They ruined the sport. They ruined this, that, and the other. And now Dana White walking, holding hands with Turki Al-Sheikh. Which side are you on? Fucking bootlicking ass. So anyways, like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you want more from Fight Society? Like and subscribe below this video and click the join button to become a channel member today to get access to behind the scenes vlogs and members only live streams.